In Chapter 4, we will be looking at adding employees to LiveIQ Labour. In LiveIQ Labour, there are two methods of inputting employee data into the system. The first is via the import feature, which allows you to take data from existing human resource systems and input it into LiveIQ for quick and simple transfer. The second is by using the employee maintenance feature. These features will not become available until you have created an organisation and assigned a store to it. To import employee details from an existing system, go to Labour, Employees, Import/Export Employee Details. To begin, click Download CSV Template. This creates a CSV file for you to enter all your employee data. The CSV file must retain its header rows for the LiveIQ import feature to be able to read in the data. Save the file in an easy to find location, such as the desktop, and open it in a software of your choice. In this example, we will use Microsoft Excel. Copy and paste the data from your alternative human resource system into the import file, ensuring all data is copied across correctly. Please note, all employees must have a unique payroll number. This is how the system will identify the employee. Once you have finished editing the CSV and have saved, return to LiveIQ, click Import Employees, and locate the CSV file you have added your employee data to. You should now see all of the employee data populated within LiveIQ. This has been imported but will not have been saved until you press Save Employees. You will not be able to save until you rectify any issues with the data which are highlighted within the grid. Read the error messages to understand why data has been flagged and then correct accordingly. Once rectified, click Save Employees. The employee data has now been saved and is ready to be used for scheduling and payroll. Should you ever wish to export your employee data from LiveIQ, use the Export Employees button located on this screen. It is important to note that not all employee data can be imported in CSV, so some data, such as the employee photo, needs to be done through the employee maintenance screen. The Import/Export feature also allows you to bulk update. This works on the assumption that an employee will always have the same payroll number. As well as the import functionality, employee data can be maintained directly within LiveIQ Labour. This is found under Labour, Employees, and Employee Maintenance. This screen displays all employees within the organisation. The employees you can see at the moment are the employees we created through the Import/Export feature. You can search for employees using the search bar, or use the store selector to filter clerks based on the stores they are mapped to. To create a new employee, click Add. Here, we can fill out important personal information and even give them a photo. Add their employment information and set if they are a person in charge. It is important to note that when creating a new employee, they need a unique payroll number, a first and last name, and a job description. This is set to default as Junior Sandwich Artist. Now it is time to start adding employees to stores. Employee store mappings are used when creating schedules and processing payroll. If you do not assign a store to an employee, you will not be able to pay the employee, as the system must be able to match schedules to time clocks. To add a new store to a clerk, click Add within the Allocated Stores tab. If this is the store the clerk usually works at, set it as the default. By setting the default field, this employee will be easy to assign to a schedule. Give the employee the same clerk ID they use in Subshop or Silway POS in this store. Please note that employees will not be paid if you do not update them with the correct clerk ID before you process payroll. An ID cannot be given to more than one employee at any time. One employee can have multiple IDs for different stores, but never more than one ID for the same period of time at the same store. Once the employees have been given a store, they need to be given a pay rate. In order for an employee to be paid, you must give the employee at least a standard pay rate. When creating a pay rate, we can specify a start and end date. This allows you to forward plan any changes in pay. For example, if national minimum wage increases at the age of 21, set the start and end dates in advance so that payroll processing will automatically pick up the new rate when it applies. Historical pay rates keep a record of rates an employee has been paid during employment. A rate is considered historical once it has passed the specified end date and has been used in payroll processing. The last payroll run date is displayed below the pay rate table. Once any pay rate has been used in payroll processing, you cannot amend the value or start date of the pay rate. If overtime rules have been set in the organisation parameters, then overtime rates must be set in order to run payroll. The final feature to discuss regarding employee maintenance is the employee maintenance template. The employee maintenance template allows you to add new sections to the employee maintenance screen, giving you the freedom to store information that is outside of the normal LiveIQ parameters. To do this, we go to Labour, Employees, and Employee Maintenance Template. Ensure you have the correct organisation selected. First of all, we need to create the section in which our inputs are going to be stored. This field is represented as a tab within the Employee Maintenance Setup screen. Now, we can add inputs, give them a name, and specify what type of data they will hold: letters, numbers, or dates. We can even create sliders or checkboxes. Below this, we can create composite inputs, similar to those used when inputting an employee address or emergency contact information. This works in a very similar way from adding details to a section. First we must add inputs to the composite, and then we add the composite to the section, like so. Once we are finished, we click Save. Our new settings will now be in the employee maintenance for you to add extra employee information. If we navigate to the employee maintenance screen, we can now see our new template applied. This concludes adding and maintaining employees in LiveIQ Labour. In Chapter 5, we will look at scheduling.